What's up there, campers? It's my 40th birthday and we're going backpacking. We're in Colorado. Let's get into it. Welcome to southwestern Colorado. We're going on a backpacking trip. It's only a couple of miles in, but we've got kind of an old dog with us who doesn't have the best legs anymore, so we're taking a short trip. It's mainly just about spending some time in the outdoors. We've got about a 30-pound pack on with food and water. We're gonna have an absolutely fantastic time in the outdoors. Let's get into it. So far, this has been a hike that is exactly what I was looking for a birthday hike. Some challenging terrain, but no crazy elevation. Nothing the average person couldn't do, especially if you're giving yourself some time. And the fact that it's only like a mile and a half in or so just makes it so that we don't have to really like kill ourselves. We didn't have to get out here super early. We just get to enjoy it. Super pumped to be out here. It's just fantastic out. It's like in the 60s, maybe 70s. No humidity. So I got pants and a long sleeve shirt in the middle of the summer, which in the Midwest would never be what I'd wear backpacking. And just loving it. Fantastic. So we just stopped for a little break, and one of the big things in backpacking is like if you ever need a break, don't feel afraid to stop, take a seat, take your pack off, take your shoes off. Give yourself a break. You don't have to just crush through all the miles. If that's who you are, by all means, go for it. But don't be afraid to give yourselves a break. In fact, a lot of the really smart people in backpacking will say, go your first hour, take a break for at least 10 minutes, go another hour, take another 10-minute break. And take your shoes off in those breaks. That's like a lot of the experts will tell you to avoid injuries and to keep yourself, in maximum hiking shape. So we're gonna keep on getting on down the trail. Good little break, back at it. What's that? All right, well, now that we have reached the lake, we got to find our spot to camp. So we're going to find some flat spots that hopefully we can set up a couple of tents and make a good spot to hang out for the night. Whew. All right, well, we found a spot that we like for camp. There's plenty of spots to put a couple of tents. There's a place to make a fire and all kinds of other activities. We're not too far up from the lake. There are some flies and mosquitoes and things flying around, but that's the whole point of having a tent. So we're gonna get set up and check back with you after we get the tents. All right, well, Sarah took the dogs down to the water to go for a little swim, so I thought I would take you on a little bit of a tour of the campsite and the gear that we brought, just so you can kind of see what we do for backpacking for a couple of people with 2 dogs. So if you've seen my walk around or my reviews of either of these two tents, you'll understand that because we have two dogs, one of which weighs over 100 pounds, it wasn't really practical for both of us, along with two dogs, to sleep in one tent. Now we could have gotten a 3-person backpacking tent, but then it's not quite as versatile for one person if I wanted to go out and just use one of these two tents. It's a little bit too much to carry. So we went with two-person backpacking tents. One of them is a freestanding tent, one of them is a non-freestanding tent. The first tent is this Durston X Mid 2. This is not the pro version, this is the polyester version, but it works really, really well for my needs. It's a little over 2 pounds, minus the trekking poles and the stakes, and it's fantastic. Now inside my setup, I am using the Zoom UL pad from Big Agnes. That is my sleeping pad. It is the wide regular length, so it's 72 inches by 25 inches long. I've got a 28-degree Sierra Designs sleeping bag. That is an old school bag. I've got a Xped pillow in there, and then I am actually experimenting with inflatable body pillows. What? Any of you guys ever thought about that? Yozi's going to be using one of these closed foam cell pads, as well as our little REI 50-degree down bag. I think it's like a Helios bag. And then I've just got my ULA Ohm backpack down in there. So when I say it's a non-freestanding tent, there are no poles. This is just using trekking poles and then stakes to stay up. And then we've got our Nemo Dagger Osmo 2P. This is a fantastic 2-person backpacking tent. If I was just going to get one tent, this is probably the one that I would get. Sarah is using the Big Agnes Rapide SL pad, also 72 inches long, 25 inches wide. That's the pad I would probably buy if I was going to buy one all-around sleeping pad. And then she's got a Nemo Disco 30 down bag, which I think is probably, again, if I was going to buy one sleeping bag, that's probably the bag I would buy. She has the Granite Gear Crown 2 backpack. It's a fantastic bag for right around a couple $100. It's like 2 pounds, great support. It's got a brain, it's got all the other things that you would want. And then we've just got this little down bag that my buddy Ed made for me out of Costco quilts for Deacon to sleep on tonight. And then we've got our closed foam pads for them. Yozi has the Ruffwear. God, I can't remember what that thing is called. It's their nicest bag. It's removable from the harness. We used to have the approach bag. I can't remember this one's called, but it's fantastic. She loves it. It works really, really well. So that's what we brought. We've also got for cooking, because this is bear country, we did bring our Bearvault. I think this one's the 450. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure this is the Bearvault 450. This is great for like 2 days, but we brought a bunch of extra kind of special food, so we're going to be using that. And then I've got my stash, but I'll show you what we're going to use for cooking later in there. So that's the gear, and I'm sticking to it. By the way, it's about 4 in the afternoon, and we've got camp all set up. So we're just going for a nice walk along the hike along the lake. Just letting the dogs run around, jump in the water, jump out, and just exploring the area. Oh, mud bog. Oh, he's in a bog. Deacon has a way of just finding mud. He's gonna smell like shit tonight. Gross. Oh. All right, well, it's only about 5:15, but both of us are getting pretty hungry, so we're gonna go ahead and get our elevated ramen started. Brought some great fresh food, brought some really great seasonings and some ramen noodles. Super simple, but it's gonna make for a way more fresh and robust meal than any kind of a dehydrated backpacking meal. They definitely have their place on longer, bigger trips where you're really weight focused. Absolutely consider those, but on shorter trips, definitely think about bringing real food. I think it makes a huge difference in your enjoyment level, both just what you get to do in camp. Like cooking in camp is a lot of fun, and then also just the quality of the food and the way that you feel and the way that your body reacts to it, just way better. So let me show you our camping cooking setup and the food that I brought and the way that we brought it with us, because I think that matters. All right, let's go through what I brought. So utensil wise, I've got this great little case, and in there I've got a couple of these human gear fork spoon combos. These separate and then reconnect in the middle, so you get kind of all the best worlds of a spork. Same weight, same all the great features, but it packs down a little tighter, and then you can kind of split them up if you've got like 2 people eating. So we each have one of those. I got this little bitty tiny rubber spatula, Chef Corso, thanks for the recommendation, super useful. I bring a big old heavy pocket knife. I normally wouldn't carry this on like a bigger trip with the dehydrated meals, but for chopping up fresh vegetables and stuff, kind of gotta have it. And then just a propane or a butane lighter and a torch for the wind works really, really well. Put those aside. I just got this. This is a GSI folding cutting board. It's kind of heavy and it's kind of cumbersome. Probably wouldn't bring this on all the longer trips, but on these shorter trips, definitely worth the wait. It's nice and sturdy, and I can cut up some like beans and anything else that I want to cut up. And then in the bear can itself, sorry, I've got my phone number and stuff like that on the lid of my bear can in case it ever gets lost, so not gonna throw that out there. The reason that I do really enjoy the Bearvaults versus like an Ursac or something like that for certain applications is we brought, for example, for this trip, we brought some fresh blackberries, some fresh blueberries, a banana, and then a bunch of fresh vegetables like some snap peas and some green onions, and then dried mushrooms and other stuff, but it really just keeps everything protected. If I would have been using my Ursac for this trip, those berries would be absolutely smashed. There's no chance that these would all still be in really good shape and in really, really delightful appearance. So the bear can, the Bearvaults work really, really well if you need to kind of keep everything nice and tidy. Obviously they're a little heavier and a little bit more cumbersome, but for certain applications these things are super useful. And then finally, my cook set of choice as of late has been this Jetboil Stash. I really like this for a couple of reasons. It keeps everything, good God, that thing is really stuck down there. I carry this little titanium bowl, I'll show you here in a second. But basically, it's got the kind of Jetboil heating element on the bottom, or their kind of maximization. It's got measurements inside and out, so nice to have, kind of gives you instructions on how to put it all back together. But this thing becomes like a full actual pot that you can cook in, and then it stores your gas canister in the lid, and then you get your pot stand and your actual stove, in there as well. And this is big enough to make a full-size meal in. We've made 2-person meals in here before easily. And then so that we can serve those meals, I typically will carry this little, I think this is a Snow Peak titanium bowl, super light, practically weighs nothing, and then just a towel to clean things up. So hi everyone, welcome to dinner. Let's get cooking. Noodles, some mushrooms, some beef, some great seasoning, some fresh scallions or green onions. I had some sugar snap peas, but I dropped those on the ground and they became dirty, so I'm not going to eat those. So this is the meal, but unbelievably good, so pumped for this. Need some water, so I'm going to go down to the lake and get us some. King my shoes. That'll get us started. All right, so went down to the water, used this Hydro Pack 2-liter bag. I really like bringing this just for extra water. It's a dirty water bag, so you always want whatever water bag or whatever bottle you're dipping into the water and then putting your filter on. You don't want to drink out of that later, so this is just our dirty water bag. So I'm using the Catadine B free filter. Personally, I think these are way better than a Sawyer Squeeze. I just think the flow rate is better, and the fact that you can just basically rub it out or clean it out in a stream by just swishing it around versus carrying some stupid, you know, syringe or something to flush it out. So then all you got to do is just take the top, and you'll see, I mean, it just flows. I've just never seen a Sawyer squeeze do this, and I've never had a problem with water quality, so cat and be free for sure. All right, campers, well, we had an absolutely fantastic dinner thanks to Chef Corso. Shout out my buddy, Outdoor Eats 365 across all kinds of channels, YouTube and Instagram and all that kind of stuff. Go check out all of his recipes, buy his cookbooks, follow him on social media. He's a great adventurer. He makes really great recipes, and we just had a kick-ass dinner, and we're gonna have a great breakfast tomorrow thanks to him. So sun just went down. We've been hanging out. The sun was kind of just beating down on the tent, so we were just getting away from the bugs. Some mosquitoes, apparently there's record mosquitoes out this year, but now the sun's down, and so I put on the jacket, not because it's cold, but I'm just keeping the bugs off of me, biting me through my shirt. And now all of a sudden, it's going to get real comfortable real quick. I'm really pumped about this. Well, to the Jeffersons, I screwed up. I came on this backpacking trip, and I really wanted to just spend the time backpacking with my wife and hanging out with the dogs and enjoying the lake, and I didn't bring a fly rod, and now at night there's just fish rising all over the place, and I could be catching fish all night, but this is life. Still gorgeous night. Still loving it. I mean, look at this. Oh.
The other two are over there in the other tent, but I am right here in the sleeping bag. She's got her blanket ready to go, and we're going to bed, so see you guys in the morning.
Good morning, campers. It's a little after 9:30. Sarah and I both slept absolutely terribly. We're just not used to sleeping out in the woods anymore, so it's just the sounds and not being used to our sleeping bags and sleeping pads and stuff like that. That's just kind of what happens. So Sarah went and got the bear can this morning to get the dogs food and get them up and going. So I'm going to grab it and get some ingredients and make our breakfast. Come here. So, all right, crisis averted, found the lighter. Let's make some breakfast. Blackberries for my love. Boobies. Water. Always be super careful if you're using your stove around your tent, sleeping pads, sleeping bags, any of that stuff. Super easy to burn, hard to repair, so just keep an eye out for that stuff. Where the river takes us far away from home. Time to ponder in the fields around me, where there's nothing but the breeze and the great unknown. Leave your worries and your suitcase, all you don't need. All right, so as you can see, we are all packed up and ready to rumble. campsite is completely clean. We're doing one last little scan around to make sure that we didn't leave anything and that we are leaving the site better than we found it. We snuffed out our fire last night with over 2 liters of water, made sure it was super cold and completely dark before we went to bed. And now we are gonna let the dogs swim in the lake and have some fun before we head back to the bus. What an awesome trip. I'll show you a little bit of the hike out.
So don't throw your hopes down a wishing well. It's your heart's desire, carry you. Come and sail with me to the open ocean, where you don't have to dream because there's you. Burn like me for you, covered in wonder, sweet in silence.
So we are really fortunate to have really good dogs. Yosie's been professionally trained and Deacon's just kind of a big love bug. So we often, when we're out on trails where it's appropriate, we'll take them off the leash and let them walk along on their own, do a little bit of exploring, sniffing, stuff like that. But when you do encounter people on the trail, you have to remember that not everybody is as excited about your dog as you are. So unless they're really kind of showing you that they want your dog to approach, it's really a good idea to put your dog back on a leash, make sure you're maintaining them. And plenty of the other people out here have dogs, and you don't know if they're reactive to another dog running right up to them. So when you're approaching people, it's always a good idea generally to put your dog back on a leash, even if your dog's really well trained. So far we've had nothing but really positive interactions on the trail. No fights, no arguments, no nothing between dogs. Just great little interactions and then we move on. So Colorado is such a dog-friendly state. So many people here have great dogs that are just used to being out on trail with other people. Yes. So we're getting to the end of this hike, back out to the car, and just one thing I wanted to share with you: if you're struggling to find your community, your tribe, your group of friends, whatever, consider the outdoors. It's an incredibly welcoming place when it comes to the types of people that are doing it and exploring and going out for hikes and backpacking and all that kind of stuff. So look up a local club, throw up a post on Facebook that says that you're looking for friends to go out and go hiking with. I think you'll find that it's an incredibly fun group of people that don't take themselves too seriously, like to explore and go find beautiful places to hang out. So I'd encourage you, if you are looking for people, get into the outdoors. You'll find some amazing people. I'm always amazed at the friendliness of the people that we see on the trail and how everybody's just greeting each other and petting each other's dogs and all that kind of thing. So we are getting out to the trailhead. Thanks so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button. And if you want to see more content like this, backpacking, hiking, fly fishing, living in your RV, exploring the country, going to national parks, all that kind of fun stuff, hit that subscribe button. It really helps the channel and you won't miss any of the content. Go check out my hiking videos in the Tetons and the Yellowstone National Park. I think they're really cool and you'll enjoy them. Talk to you later.